I'm John, an all-round athlete. In episode 1, we covered flexibility. We're looking at lower back pain. Episode 2 is all about mobility. So for this episode, I'm going to be covering all the smaller muscles, pectineus, the iliopsoas, and the piriformis, which are some of the main muscles that cause tightness in those hip capsules. What we're going to try and do is open and mobilize those hip capsules as much as we can to allow for more range of movement in that joint. First exercise today is, one of the first exercises we're doing, we need to find a squat rack with an adjustable bar. Smith machines are normally quite good for this. A lot of gyms have them. We need to bring the height of the bar just below our shoulders. Now, we're going to be in the Sumo squat stance, nice and low, knees nice and wide, head under the bar, holding that there and pushing those knees nice and wide. Then we're going to twist to our right hand side first, lunge down nice and low, not putting the back knee on the floor. Now, if the right leg is forward, the left arm's going to be up. We're going to push those hips through and really try and push those hips forward as much as we can. We'll hold that there for around 10 seconds. Back under the bar, knees nice and wide. This is a great stretch for the psoas. Knees nice and wide and twist again. Again, if it's the left leg this time, right arm up, lunge that back leg down and really twist as much as you can and push those hips forward as much as we can, holding that stretch for about 10 seconds, and then back to the middle in the sumo squat stance again. Knees nice and wide, chest up nice and high, and then we repeat. That is the first exercise. We're going to be at the 90-degree stretch and hold this 90-degree position. Now, some of us won't even be able to get up into this position without using our arms. So what we're going to have to do is try and anchor ourselves up using our arm, pushing. If our right leg is forwards, then we need our left leg back and we need to be going into our left hip. We hold that position, and if we can, both hands off and hold in that position there. That's the first stretch you can do for around 10-15 seconds. Remember, this is mobility, so we don't want to be holding too long like flexibility. We hold for around 10 seconds and then we get the joint moving. For the beginning, around 10-15 seconds. We then change sides to the other sides. Again, if we need our hands, we can use our arm to anchor us up to hold this position here. 10-15 seconds. If you can hold body weight, 10-15 seconds. Then we're going to be going into the exercise, which is the mobility exercise of moving our hips left to right. So holding the 90-90 stretch, trying not to move our feet at all, rotating as much as we can all the way around, if we can, without falling over to the other side. We'll do around 10 repetitions, keeping our chest as high as we can, and that will open up the hip capsule. 3 lots of 10, same with the first exercise, underneath the bar, around 3 lots of 10 as well. And then we've got one last exercise. What we want to try and find is a bench that is around knee height, okay? This is for the piriformis. What we're going to be doing is lifting. We'll start with the right leg. The right foot's going to go down on the bench. The right knee is going to go down on the bench. And we're going to try and drop the back knee as far as we can down, keeping this knee down. Now, if we can't, you hold the position, keeping this leg straight at 90 degrees. I sometimes like to keep one hand on one foot. Some people like to keep the hand on the bench, but if you haven't got the flexibility there, that's going to be quite tough to have such a wide hand stance. So keeping the knee down, hand on the foot, gradually start dropping that back knee down and hold that stretch there. You're going to bounce into it, up and down, around 10-15 times, and then change legs. This time the left foot on, keeping that knee down, 10-15 times. Now, as a mobility exercise, this is great to open up the piriformis to allow more movement in your hip joint. You can use this as a stretch as well, so just hold it without the bounces, makes it more of a static hold stretch. This would not really be so much mobility exercise. It would be more of a dynamic flexibility exercise, but one that I would add in with my mobility work. So we've got number 1, which is the sumo squat under the bar, turning left to right, holding the lunge position with our back knee down, arm up nice and high and pushing that hip forward so we can stretch the psoas. 10-15 seconds, squatting back down in the sumo squat under the bar and then turning to face the other side. The second exercise is the 90-90 stretch, opening up the hip capsule, knees turning side to side, flip to the right and flip to the left. And the third stretch is the piriformis stretch using a bench that is around knee height, 10 to 15 bounces. These are great exercises to open up those hip joints, to mobilize those hip joints. The main muscle, the iliac, the psoas, which is the iliopsoas, the piriformis, and the pectineus. These are 3 main muscles you're going to have to open up when trying to open up the hip capsule. We did cover the hamstrings, the glutes, and the erector spinae in episode 1. Next, what we're going to cover in episode 3, now we've done mobility and we've covered the hip joint. This will release a lot of lower back pain. In episode 3, we're going to cover activation of the glutes, the hamstrings, and how we can get more rotation in the upper back so that those erector spinae muscles are actually working rather than sleeping.